Artificial intelligence, a very hot topic. But today I want to talk about how we really do it in real life at Freigeist. So how do we utilize the latest possibilities? Let's go into, as we say in German, the Maschinenraum and have a look. So Alex, thank that you did find the time today. So we're utilizing actually a lot of the AI possibilities at Freigeist. So maybe we start at the beginning, how we discover startups, founders, and so on.
Yeah, exactly as you said, we are actually utilizing it on all the stages that we're looking at. So starting on sourcing, I think this was the initiative we were especially focused on in the last few years. How do we see every startup that's founded in Europe, for example? I think this is something we are actually quite good at now, and there's a lot of online databases, but now the question arises, how do we handle hundreds of startups per week?
So, Nagelstudio versus quantum computing.
How do we find quantum computing and not waste our time with Nagelstudios, especially from our perspective? So what we did, I think this is very revolutionary, and so what we did is utilizing LLM technologies.
So large language models.
Exactly, AI models that could match what startup is doing with what our hypothesis, our focus areas are. So getting an understanding of, is a company working on quantum computers, or is a company a Nagelstudio, for example? So I think what we did is building a database of hypotheses, basically, in the back end, which matches if a startup works in those areas or not. And this database is quite dynamic, so it learns from every decision that we are making, and it gets better and better. And this for us, worked in a way that we could look at 70% less startups and still see all the relevant ones. So the 30% that we're looking at are the most relevant ones from our perspective.
I still can remember several years ago, we made the decision and say, well, let's go even further back when Mark, Alex, and myself started that. We sourced the deals out of the network. Somebody called me and said, hey, here's a great startup. Okay, and then we grew the team, you joined the team, and then we made that decision to say, okay, we need to have a software that finds all the startups. There was a starting point many years ago, and then we made a crawler, how we call it, we see it here in the background, and we said whenever something pops up in an accelerator at a university and so on, we want to see it, it should go into our database, but then the challenge was that we had so much data before LLMs became mainstream and available and usable in a very easy and effective way. So we had sometimes 4 or 5 full-time employees that were just in the crawler saying, we want to look at this, we don't want to look at this. And that's something that we changed because we collected so much data that we can now utilize. So it all starts with data. We had too much data for humans, but now we can utilize the data on LLMs.
Yeah, and I think there's actually quite a balance that you would need to match. So on one hand, you need to be as efficient as possible, so looking at the fewest possible startups in that whole universe. But on the other hand, you need to still stay open for new ideas. So being too strict on your hypothesis, I think, is quite let's say, a challenge or a mistake that you could make. So this is, I think, something that we balance quite good with our very dynamic database of hypotheses.
So we always backtrack that with humans. So we say, okay, how are the machines working, and are we on the right track? And so far, whenever you present us the latest findings, it looks quite promising. And the large language models are just getting started. So they're getting better and better. We have different libraries there, which is great for us. A lot of competition coming against OpenAI, and so we can be better. So this is a stage where we basically find and then the startups and then say, should we have a closer look? What's the next stage and how we utilize AI in the stage?
So what we are already doing is utilizing, especially via external tools, AI to get better at doing our analysis. So using ChatGPT for research purposes, for example, or other tools that...
Special tools,
special tools that work with paper databases and give you some summaries on that. And I think, I mean, the dream is to predict outcomes of startups. I don't think that we would get there in the near future because, I mean, AIs always try on a given database to find patterns, basically. And I think those are two problems. So the given database is not complete enough. So you don't know about the personality behind the startup. And so a lot of missing links. And also patterns, I think, is something which can be quite a mistake to focus on too much on venture capital, because on venture capital it's also about finding outliers, finding something that's not within the trend.
Like a Lilium we see
like
here in the background, nobody would say about flying cars, would say, what's that?
Exactly, and maybe the pattern behind it would not be as promising.
Yeah. Today it's an industry, but at this time it was not an industry. Yeah.
So I think that's a crucial point to keep in mind when focusing on that.
So we are investing in quite a broad range of technologies. So with Procyon, we're looking to hopefully finding a cure for cancer. We have an energy storage. We have flying cars. You look in batteries and all these things. So it helps our experts to dive into a new topic in a very effective way. Like you would talk to a virtual expert. We also still have our network of experts, but now we can be so much faster and more effective and say, okay, I want to learn the latest about this niche battery technology, and then we can ask the AI tools that we license or build by ourselves and say, okay, what is the latest development in this area? Yeah. Okay, what's next? Where are we losing?
So I think two things that are also quite interesting to look at. So first of all, utilizing LLMs for our portfolio work. So after we invest in companies, we tend to support them operatively quite strongly. Yeah. And that also means that we would also think about how can we build software tools to support them. Yep. So what we're currently building, for example, are sales tools where we would find within our database of startups or also within external databases, how can we find customers that really fit? How can we even qualify customers if they are interesting or not in very early stages? And I think that's also a promising route to go.
So we had a look at all the possibilities that are out there for operating a company, and we kind of created a toolbox, the different scenarios, how we can use it. We shared that across our portfolio to say, now's the time, please utilize it. All right. That's great. So that was a view into our machine room, like how we really work. AI is now a very valid option to optimize your workflows, to optimize your team. I believe we're becoming hybrid humans, so we need humans, unfortunately. But you can become hybrid and be more effective. And Alex just explained many ways where we can now look at even more startups and support our existing portfolio more effectively. So that was a look into the machine realm. See you soon. Bye-bye.